I spent some time with Mom in, I think, 2013, reviewing family pictures with her and having her make comments on them. She had no notes and reeled off the family birthday dates from memory. She could do the same thing with telephone numbers. I think that ability came from working all those years as a telephone operator. She was in her 90s at the time. She thought when she was graduating from Charlestown High and that she would be able to go to state college. But they were not accepting applicants from Charlestown that year. She graduated and she was not able to go to college. In my senior year, our homeroom nun had arranged our seating by overall average, and I was seated in the second last row in the class. My homeroom nun had told my mother on parent-teachers night that I was not much of a student and she should not waste her money sending me to college. Mom never told me what my homeroom teacher had said until I graduated from BC. When I graduated from high school, my mother believed that I should go to college. So she took the $1,000 that she had inherited from her father and used that to pay for my first year tuition at BC. She really could not afford to waste the money and probably could have used it for something else. I even doubted that I would be able to do the work that was required for college. But I believed I could do it because she believed in me. When our father died in 1963, I was a senior at BC, and my sister was a freshman at BC. My mother wanted us both to stay in school, so she went to work full-time as a telephone operator for the New England Telephone Company on Harrison Ave in downtown Boston. She traveled to work every day by public transportation from Norwood until she retired in 1984. She worked as a telephone operator until they phased out the operator jobs, and then took a data clerk job in the 60s. She eventually became the shop steward. She followed in the tradition of her brother Dan, who was the business agent for the Longshoremen's Union, a tradition that was further carried out by her nephew Billy Sullivan, who was later also to be the business agent for the Longshoremen's Union. A former longtime communicant of St. Catherine of Siena's church in Norwood, she attended daily Mass until she was not able to go anymore, and then watched the Catholic Mass in the Rosary on the Catholic channel almost daily. She even convinced them at the nursing home, where she was for a month and a half, to turn the daily Mass on in the dining room. Everyone in the family knew not to call her before 10:30 or 11 a.m. because she was watching the Mass, which was followed by the Rosary, and would not answer the phone. Jennifer, her granddaughter, said that Nana's philosophy was that prayer really could move mountains. A lot of people in the family would call her up to ask her to pray for somebody, and she would, but she would always say, "You can say prayers too." Jennifer gave me my mother's rosary beads when I was in Tufts Medical Center after I had just come out of a 4-week medically induced coma. I now say the rosary every morning at 8 a.m. with a Zoom rosary group. The rosary contains the necessary elements for simple meditation. Meditation is something that I've been doing for a long time. Praying the rosary with deep and simple concentration, recalling the events of the mystery, and pausing to think about them for a moment draws me into a deeper relationship with God, the goal of meditation. Mom was generous but frugal. She was always ready to help her children and grandchildren financially if they needed it. She was also a volunteer with the Norwood Food Pantry and the Widow's Lifeline. She donated to Catholic TV. She was a surrogate mom to family and friends when they needed one, and later she became the family matriarch for both sides of our family. My lifelong friend Jim Barrett sent an email when she died saying how she was always someone that he or our other friends could always talk to. Two of my other friends who have since passed away said that even when things were rocky at home, they could always come to my house and feel safe and wanted. One of my friends, Wayne, went on vacation with us in the summer to Lake Boone in Hudson, Mass. a number of times. Mom would occasionally look after family children, like Mary Teresa Doherty, her niece, and Dennis Sullivan, her nephew, and make them a part of our family. She was a Girl Scout leader, active in CYO as a chaperone, and a Girl Scout summer camp director. Mary Teresa said how one summer, while she was staying with us, that Mom brought her along to summer camp, even though she was not old enough to be there. Jane Morgan Jennings, Kathy's lifelong friend, became her adoptive daughter when Jane's mother and aunt died. When there were family functions, she would absolutely love the attention she received from nieces and nephews and their children and their children's children. Jennifer also said one of her fond memories was seeing my grandmother light up every Bunker Hill Day parade when she was around her family in Charlestown. She was always proud of her Charlestown heritage and enjoyed going with her sister Mary to the Charlestown Old School Girls Club dinners. When we were growing up, every Friday she would pack us up and take us on the Orange Line from Jamaica Plain to Charlestown for supper with her family. My father was usually working. Later in life, she would go over weekly to visit her sisters in Charlestown and Somerville by public transportation, right up into her 80s. Wednesdays, when she would go to Charlestown, she would always bring brownies. So one of the younger children over there said he thought the symbol of the state of Virginia on the quarter should be a brownie. Once she got us kids to leave the house, she started to travel, and she loved to visit different places and countries. Jennifer said one of her favorite memories was Nana going on a trip with her family to Ireland. There was another trip to Ireland that was part of my mother's legend. I think she was with one of John O'Neill's sisters. They were touring the Cliffs of Moher, and it was raining. My mother fell and sprained her ankle. She had to get a ride in an ambulance to the hospital and was all excited that they let her blow the siren on the ambulance. She had remarkable health and up until her appendix almost burst about 2005. She was taking very little medication up until that time. After that, she went to live with Kathy in Medfield, and she got rid of her apartment in Norwood. She had become very hard of hearing, and so she would not drive Kathy crazy. I made a deal with her that I would get hearing aids if she agreed to get hearing aids also. I needed them anyway. My hearing was causing a problem with my teaching job. Mom spent hours listening to big band and Irish music, as well as Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and was a lover of the Lawrence Welk Show. She also enjoyed dancing, reading, traveling, the Red Sox, and was a dedicated mother, grandmother, and homemaker. To briefly describe her, you could say she was grateful. She was a grateful, very religious, and generous lady. When she was asked near the end of her life what she missed the most in life, she said dancing and being able to sign her own name. She had beautiful handwriting. When she was under hospice one night while I was staying with her, I tried to sneak to the bathroom without waking her up. Then suddenly I hear, "I see you out there, Jackie Bowes. What are you doing?" One of the last 2 days before she died, there was a constant stream of family and friends who came to Kathy's house to say goodbye. She died peacefully on July 8, 2014.
This is my mother, Nora Sullivan, on the left. And my cousin Mary Crow is with her wedding day. This is a picture of my stepfather, Andrew Sullivan. We called him Puppy Sully. He was a wonderful man, and I loved him dearly. This is the day of graduation from Charlestown High in June of 1936. These are my brothers. My oldest brother, Dan, born January 19th, 1915, at the top. My brother, Andy, born July 19th, 1926. My brother, Billy, born February 23rd, 1937. My brother Andy was in the Navy, and my brother Billy was in the Airborne in the Army. At the bottom, we have Ruthie Sullivan, now Gorman, born February 27th, 1934, and Helen Sullivan, Aruda, born January 12th, 1934, and our friend Herb Lafreniere. He was my godson. These are my sisters. At the top is my sister Mary with her friend Marcella. This is a picture of my family. In the front row is my brother Dan, my sister Mary, and my brother Andy. In the back row to the left is my sister Helen, then me, and on the right-hand side, my sister Ruthie. This is a picture of my wedding day, June 30th, 1940. I was married at St. Mary's Church in Charlestown. In the front row is my sister Mary, who was a junior bridesmaid. Next to her is Pat Lafreniere. She was my bridesmaid. Then me, my sister Ruthie, who was a flower girl, and Herbie Lafreniere. He was my godson and also the ring bearer. Mary White was my matron of honor, and Claire Bowes was a bridesmaid, and my sister Helen was a junior bridesmaid. In the back row is my brother Dan, who was an usher, my husband Frankie, Bill Crow, my cousin, was an usher, and Jim Bowes was the best man. This is a picture of me with my husband the day of our wedding. His name was John F. Bowes, and we were married June 30th, 1940, at St. Mary's Church in Charlestown. This is a picture of Frankie's family. In the front row is Mary White, his older sister, his mother Catherine Bowes, his father Michael Bowes, his oldest brother Jim Bowes. In the second row is his brother Robert. Next is Frankie, my husband, and his sister Claire, the youngest, and Brian Bowes, a family picture of all his family. And up on the shelf there was a picture of Sheila Bowes, who was Jim's daughter. This is a picture of Mr. Bowes with some of his cousins from Canada. In the front row is Mr. Bowes, Mike Bowes. Next to him is George Quigley from Canada, and his son Bob Bowes on the end. In the background is Claire Bowes and her cousin Ronnie Bowes, and one of Mr. Bowes' nephews, George McManus. This is Bridgie, a cousin of my husband. She lived to be 109 years old. I wrote a book, The Woman of Aaron, and told of all the things that went on in her life, like the time of the black and tan, when she was put in jail. She used to brag about it, and my father-in-law would try to keep her quiet. He didn't want her saying she was in jail, and she was proud of it. She was a feisty lady, let me tell you. And she had her senses, even at 109, she was very sharp. This is a picture of Jackie and Ginny when they were very young. My sister Mary took them to have a picture taken. This is a picture of my daughter, my youngest daughter, Kathy. My sister Mary took them to have a picture taken. The man gave her a ball and she threw it at him. This is a picture of 9 Carolina Avenue where my in-laws lived. The picture is my mother-in-law, Catherine Bowes, and in front of her is, to the left, is my son John, my daughter Ginny, and Eddie, Ruthie Bowes' nephew. This is a picture taken at 9 Carolina Avenue where my in-laws lived. In the picture is me holding my daughter Kathy, and then Ruthie Bowes holding her son Jimmy, and then my son John in the corner here, in the right-hand corner. This is my son John's graduation from St. Thomas Aquinas, June of '59. This is my oldest daughter, Ginny, graduated from St. Thomas in June of 1960. Kathy graduated from Notre Dame, June 1962. She won a full scholarship to Notre Dame. These are my Bowes children. To the left is my daughter Kathy, the youngest, born October 19, 1944. In the middle is my son John Jr., born July the 8th, 1941. And to the right is my Ginny, born 11/22/42, November 22nd, 1942. It's my husband and I at our 10th anniversary party run by the McDonough girls. We collected money to buy a new refrigerator.
Isn't that Jim in the background?
Who's that, Jim?
Jim, I think, yeah.
That's Jim Bowes, his oldest brother in the background there, to our right. This is the picture that was taken up in Hudson, Mass, where we used to go for the summer. The name of the cottage was Jack-o'-lantern. The front row is my son Jackie, my daughter Ginny, and my daughter Kathy. In the back row is Claire Bowes, Frankie's sister, myself, and my Frankie on the end. This is my husband Frankie carving the Thanksgiving turkey. He always got elected to do the carving. Did a good job too. This is the day of Jimmy Beasley's christening, my nephew. My son John Jr. and my daughter Kathy were the godparents. This is a picture of my daughter Kathy and her friend Jane Jennings, taken in 2:05 on Christmas Eve. Jane has always been called my third daughter. Just a picture of John O'Neill and Pat Jennings. They've been lifelong friends, went in the service together, and they both married girlfriends, my daughter Kathy and Jane. These are my grandchildren. Firstborn, David Mulvey, February 16th, 1971. Then John Bowes III, Jackie's son, born April 26, 1971. These are my 3 grandchildren, my Jackie Bowes' children. We have Stephen, 1-year-old birthday party. And in the background is his sister Karen. And to the right is his brother John Bowes III. To the right is a picture of John and Karen Bowes. Karen Bowes, Jackie's daughter, born on April 22nd, 1973. In the right-hand corner, John P. O'Neill Jr., born April 9th, 1977. And his sister Jennifer, born June the 30th, 1978. Sean O'Neill, who was born 12/31/74. Unfortunately, we lost. And to the right is Stephen Bowes, born November the 10th, 1975. On January 1st, 1989, my granddaughter Karen made this picture of her brother Stephen, who lived to be 18 months old. Had a lot of problems, but we loved them. To the right, we have the O'Neill family. We have John Patrick Jr., Jennifer, Kathy, and John O'Neill Sr. This is my son John's wedding on September 26, 1999. This is Karen's sister-in-law, Jill, and her husband Jack. Karen, the bride, John Jr., my daughter Virginia, Mulvey, and my daughter Catherine O'Neill, and her husband John O'Neill. The wedding, my sister Helen, my sister-in-law Mary White, me, my sister-in-law Alice Sullivan, married to my brother Andy, and my sister-in-law Ruth Bowes, married to Brian Bowes, Frankie's brother. This is a picture of my oldest daughter, Ginny, the lady in blue, taken aboard the ship from Bermuda in 2002. This is a picture taken on my son's 60th birthday. Kathy, me, Ginny, and in front Jack. This is a picture of all the family on a get-together. Probably Mother's birthday. In the front row is my daughter Virginia, my son Jackie, Karen, his daughter, Karen Bowes, and Kathy O'Neill, my youngest daughter. In the second row is Mom, John III, John Bowes III, and Jeannie Bowes. In the third row is Jennifer O'Neill, David Mulvey, John Patrick Jr., and John Patrick Sr. This is the day of my granddaughter's wedding. Karen Bowes, now Sansucci to Scott Sansucci. And there's Nana to the right. Beautiful day. She had a beautiful wedding and it was on the beach. That was White Horse Beach where she had her wedding. It was very nice. This is David's wedding. The bride's mother and father to the left. Donna Perron was her name. Now Donna Mulvey. David Mulvey, the groom. His father James Mulvey and his stepmother. This is pictures taken at my grandson David Mulvey on June the 4th, 2005. We have John Patrick O'Neill Jr., Jennifer O'Neill, the groom, David Mulvey, Carol Sansucci, my Jackie's daughter, John Bowes III, and Nana. Those are all my grandchildren taken on David's wedding day, June the 4th, 2005. This is a picture of my brother Dan, my oldest brother, with his daughter Jacqueline on the day of her graduation from Emerson College. This is a picture of my brother Andy's 75th birthday. Up front is his wife Alice and my brother Andy. He's surrounded by his children. Starting at the left, Stephen, and back of him is Maureen, Dennis, Margaret, and back of Kathleen, Andy in the back, Gerald, and Danny. And up front is Mary Ann and Alice. To the right is my sister Helen and me. That was in 2002. It's a picture of the whole gang from Jamaica Plain. In the rear is Wayne Dunlap, Roger Sarcade, Kenny Mathis, Buddy Rivers. In the middle is my son, John Bowes Jr., and my daughter, Kathy. In the front row is me and Jimmy Barrett, the whole crew from Jamaica Plain.
2004.
That was New Year's Day, 2004. This is me celebrating St. Patrick's Day 2003 over in South Boston at my son's house. And with me is Jimmy Barrett, a lifelong friend of Jackie's. That's me with the glasses. I'm in disguise. The picture in the background is a picture of the Irish football team, which all the Bowes boys belong to. My husband and brother Brian and his brother Jim. And down below is a picture of me and Ruthie Bowes. They had a special presentation at Doyle's restaurant in Jamaica Plain. This is one of my birthday parties with my family. Up front is John Bowes, his wife Karen, me, the birthday lady, my daughter Ginny, and in the back row we have John Bowes III, John O'Neill Sr., Jennifer, Kathy O'Neill. That was the Spirit of Boston we went on. Extended family. First we have the Bowes family. My son Jack, his wife Jean, John III, and Karen. This is Mary White's 90th birthday, with all her friends wrapped around her. We have Kathy Collins in the background. And left to right we have Shelley O'Hearn, me, Ginny Bowes. Next to me is Ruthie Bowes and her daughter, Ruth Mocus. And in front, the birthday lady, Mary White, 90 years old.